Alexander T. Wolf. Now, I know Miss Brenda was supposed to be here telling stories today, but she's a little tied up right now, so I don't think she'll mind at all if I go ahead and start, because I'm going to tell you the true story of the three little pigs, told by A. Wolf, as to John Seska, illustrated by Lane Smith. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing, it's all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down to the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build the house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into somebody else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without my cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake, and that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and sneezed a great sneeze. And what do you know? That whole straw house fell down, and right in the middle of a pile of straw was that first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner just lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not by much. He had built his house of sticks. Now I rang the bell on the stick house, and nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in?" He yelled back, "Go away, you wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had just grabbed a hold of the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth. I really did. But I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell in too, just like his brother's. Well, when the dust clears, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know, food will spoil if you just leave it lying out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, and my cold was feeling a little bit better. But I still didn't have that cup of sugar from my dear old Granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. Now this guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have had all the brains in the family. He had built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house's door. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig, Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker said? "Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. Huh. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear old Granny's birthday cake. What a pig. Well, I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed again. Then the third little pig yelled, "And your Granny can sit on a pin." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my Granny like that, I go a little crazy. So when the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down that pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs that I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going door to door to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huffing and puffing and blowing your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. I'm glad that you were able to tune in today. Don't forget to come back for more stories next week, and come to your local library to enter the summer reading program. And if she plays her cards right, I'll let Miss Brenda loose. See you again next week.